So I just start, or do you do any sort of? Would you like me to get started?
Uh, yeah, we have I'm assuming we have people trickling in.
Okay,
So
just let
if
me know whenever you want me to get started. I can just hang out.
absolutely, yeah. I don't know, maybe we could give it like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Will the AI be on?
The AI?
Yeah, that's like an AI button where you can it'll transcribe um the words for you as a separate document to the video. It's called AI companion.
Uh,
It
I
should be
have
it should be at the top or the bottom.
I have no idea. I could look into it. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, hmm, I'm gonna can't locate it, but I'm gonna be looking for it. For everyone joining, we're gonna begin in a couple of minutes. We're just as people trickle in, we're gonna give them just a couple of minutes
Okay.
uh, to settle in, and then we'll begin. Um, Let me see if I could figure that out for you. I haven't done that before. You caught me off guard with that one.
Oh,
I've
okay. It's
done
okay.
that before. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Um, hmm. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see it here. Oh, I guess that's like an additional feature that we don't have set up on
Yeah,
this.
it might be. It might.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Alrighty. Hey, good morning, Logan. Yeah, I think 10:05 we're good to go if you'd like, or yeah.
Want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Um, Welcome to Where's the Future? How do I unleash my imagination? Thank you to BRIC Foundation for the invitation and Epic Games as well for the work we've been doing together across storytelling, education, and growing emerging technology and diversifying the space for world builders. My name is Alton Glass, founder, CEO, and storyteller of GRX Immersive Labs. Um, I want to get started by sharing a little bit about the company and myself. We like to call it our DNA. We are a immersive media and storytelling platform for XR content and educational curriculum. The areas we focus on is XR storytelling. We do a lot of R&D, curriculum development, and also consulting. My background is directing feature films about 15 years, and I transferred into virtual reality. And all of these tools provided a means for the sandbox, which we like to play in, which is inspiration, creating opportunity, and that leads to innovation. My journey into virtuality, or what some will call XR now, it's just grown. Started off around 2016, and from there I got introduced to working in game engines. I ended up directing a project with Time. I co-created a project with Time called The March, which is about the recreation of the March on Washington with Dr. King in his estate. And this image you see here is actually a 3D image of Dr. King that was generated. And this was brought into a game engine called Unreal Engine. And that's what really blew my mind as I started asking questions about some of these new tools, and I learned about motion capture and how all of these tools came together, and my imagination just kind of took me back to being a kid again. And during this process, I had to learn how to learn. And these new tools allowed me to express my imagination in new ways. I got an introduction to Unreal Engine, which we'll talk about. And then I also eventually got a fellowship with AB Games to learn how to create in this tool, which was amazing. And as a result of that, being so inspired, that also inspired us to create an extension of GRX Immersive Labs, which is called GRX Immersive Academy, to offer the same opportunities and bring more creators, educators into the space of working in XR, or immersive media, and virtual production. So as I mentioned, we now work at the intersection of storytelling, emerging technology, and education. And it's been quite a journey for me in this space as well. Here's a brief video of some of the work we do.
Welcome to GRX Immersive Labs. My name is Alton, CEO and storyteller. We're a future-forward studio powering metaverse technologies to innovate storytelling, accelerate immersive education, and amplify culture. We believe in empowering learners to become world builders, innovators, and creative entrepreneurs.
We are storytellers.
Imagination is frameless, and boundaries do not exist in how we learn and tell our stories. Working with immersive media tools allows us to push the boundaries of conventionality and bring our ideas to fruition. GRX's educational programming and content development services help bring your creative vision to life. Our experiential learning platform is the gateway to immersive careers and creative entrepreneurship. We provide a range of content and courses such as Unreal Engine Foundations, POV, Intro to AI, and Arts Beats and Tech that train individuals in emerging technologies for real-time 3D, digital asset creation, and music production. Our programs weave together storytelling, education, and technology so you can create worlds and reimagine tomorrow. We understand the importance of education that meets both current standards and the needs of the future. Our content is compatible with academic standards and can be integrated into pre-apprenticeship programs to enhance learning outcomes and prepare students for immersive careers. Join GRX Immersive Labs and take the first step toward a career in the immersive economy. Enroll today and start your journey to design the future.
All right. So as I move into creating, showing you how we create and unleash our imagination, I like to start off with a foundational tool to unlocking that imagination. And that's my why, because that helped me transition and build my confidence as I moved into the XR space and understanding how to use what I could bring to the table, right? And not get overwhelmed by the technology, right? Because as you can see, technology now is moving faster than it's ever moved, especially with AI. So I like to start off with what's your DNA, right? Reflecting on your own personal identity, your experiences, ideologies, and you use that to develop an idea or a story that's true to you and leverage that point of view. And that allows you to also connect with particular audiences as well. Uh-oh, did I go too far? Hold on 1 second. Oops. Let me go back. Hold on 1 second. I think I might have been too far. Oops. Let's just jump me all the way through. All right, so here we go. Let's try this again. All right, so secondly, getting uncomfortable, right? technology is outpacing educational pathways, and you want to tap in and get that experience, right? And you want to get it now. So for me, I had to understand that there's a cross-pollination of lots of different skills now. All these different things are converging. So it's really important to get out there, network, collaborate, and even help others. And I also find that also allows me to re-spark my imagination by bouncing ideas with other people at times, which has been really, really helpful for me. And then, take what you already know and build on those transferable skills, right? Stack those new habits. AI is going to be pretty much enabling pretty much all of our tools going into the future. So it's really good to understand what's under the hood and how you can leverage what you're doing with these emerging technologies. Virtual production is one that I learned about when I started working in Unreal Engine, and started to see how a lot of the things that I was already previously learning has started to converge into virtual production. And then you got things like the metaverse, where there's a lot of other ideas and things you can create in Web 3.0, right? So some of the tools that I've had to learn and pick up on and leverage these transferable skills from my previous film career has been immersive media, things like augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. And a lot of these tools are being leveraged in virtual production. And then you got things now like Apple Vision Pro, right? Which a lot of people consider just a technology, but it's actually a platform. It's not just a device, right? Let me see here. There we go. That's better. So keyword to look out for is you'll start to hear people talk about real-time 3D, right? Real-time 3D skills. As I transition from cinematic live action, I moved into what they call game engines, right? And these tools like Unreal Engine and Unity were typically made for making games, but now they're being used across various other industries, right? So real time is just allowing you not to have to wait like you used to years ago to render everything out, right? You can load your assets, your 3D assets, and you can see them come to life and render in real time, right? Without having to wait. Now, sometimes, depending on your computer, it could take a little bit longer than others, but the idea of real time has saved so much time in where we are now, right? And I learned about all this by just asking as many questions as I could when I worked on the project I mentioned called the March. Like, this is a 3D image, right? And I could never imagine that the technology would have progressed so fast where we'd have 3D characters looking like photorealistic humans. All right. So, and there's a lot of other industries too that are using real-time 3D, like construction, architecture, talk about entertainment, engineering. I mean, there's so many different opportunities to prepare yourself to bring your unique ideas into these new spaces. I'm just gonna go like this. All right. So, and really understanding that we're moving into an immersive economy, right? Where what people will call spatial computing. There's going to be a lot of new job opportunities, a lot of new businesses. So even if you don't want to start a business, learn how to think like one, and learn how to be investable. And I think that's going to be really, really important as we move into this fast-paced future, as these new skills are going to be in real high demand. I'm going to talk a little bit more about virtual production, which combines some of the tools we talked about, virtual reality, augmented reality, and some of the skills that you can transfer some of your previous skills into, right? So with virtual production, you check out The Mandalorian if you get some time, the behind the scenes to that. That's a pretty notable example. But you'll notice in the behind the scenes, and this is just one snapshot, but a lot of these tools are converging to create these new spaces, and they're using Unreal Engine as a tool to bring about more creativity, more innovation, and more ideas, right? You got camera tracking, virtual cinematography, and you're seeing innovation on traditional green screens and what they call LED walls and motion capture as well. Like if you ever see Avatar, that's motion capture with the little balls and stuff like that. Here's actually, are there any questions before I move on and share an example of how all these technologies come together. Any questions?
Yeah, if anybody has a question, you guys could use the Q&A function, and then as Alton's speaking, they could gather up, and then we can have like a little break and he go over the. As of now, I don't see any questions, but yeah, anybody could go ahead and ask or in chat as well if you'd like to.
What is a website 3D? You can make 3D websites or 3D worlds. Mozilla is a really interesting one for that. Another one is called Spatial. So there if you look up 3D websites, there are like web-based engines or platforms that allow you to build in these types of 3D types of spaces. And so here is an example of how we use Unreal Engine with one of our cohorts for a virtual production cohort in collaboration with Handy Foundation. And it was really great to see a lot of these, some were students and some were career changers who dove into Unreal Engine and learned how to build these worlds. And then they were paired together with an organization called Aladdin Exorcist, which is a writing group that creates horror content. So they got an opportunity to take their ideas, come together, collaborate, and see all of these come together in a virtual production.
Hey, my name is Reagan Brown, and I'm with GRX Immersive Labs, and we are storytellers.
In the age where technology redefines the impossible and creativity takes the front seat, we invite you to embark on a journey that merges the best of both worlds. Welcome to our virtual production course powered by Unreal Engine.
Working on Unreal is always a pleasure because I get to express my creative side.
Step into the infinite playground of virtual production, a territory where your imagination is the only limitation.
As filmmakers, we're always excited to do something new, to really push the boundaries of what we're able to do.
Discover how film, TV, animation, and gaming industries are revolutionizing storytelling, bringing stunning realism and immersive experiences to audiences worldwide.
So for the past 6 weeks, we've been working with the students and teaching them Unreal foundations, and these are the great things that they've created, so I'm super excited.
Our course is designed for creators, storytellers, and dreamers.
It was one of the best experiences I've had as far as learning media, even better than when I was in college. Like college, it felt like everybody in class was the competition. Here, it feels like everybody is the team.
I feel included, and that's important to me.
Whether you're a seasoned professional looking to upskill or a newcomer venturing into the world of digital storytelling, we provide the tools, resources, and expertise to bring your vision to life.
Pretty incredible.
Boom. I think if there's no other questions, I can proceed into talking about how you can leverage these tools, right, in becoming a world builder. And as I mentioned, you already possess a number of creative skills, technical skills, and soft skills, right? So how do you bring all those ingredients together? Right? And I'm going to share with you. I'm going to start by sharing with you my very first project because I was very intimidated when I moved into some of these spaces because I thought it was really technical, tech heavy. But what I learned was, tapping into my imagination and then bringing that with my own perspective, and then the skills that I had, and focusing on leaning into my own strengths is what allowed me to sort of lower my own barrier to entry I was creating for myself, and learning how to learn the things that I needed to enhance where I wanted to go. And I'm going to show you how I did that and why, and to encourage you that you can do this as well. So world building, right? This is just, to me, it represents anything you have in your head, being able to pull that out. And there's so many tools now that are available, which I'll share with you, to be able to do that and rapidly prototype that. So on the right here, you have iPhone. This is where you can do facial animation, something called Live Link. This is a free app. And then virtual camera, or what they call VCam in Unreal Engine, right? Unreal Engine is also free, right? So this is Unreal Engine is made by Epic Games. You can Google that. You can find it, sign up for an account, and you can get in there. You can start with a blank canvas, or I'll show you how you can start to prototype much quicker to build out your ideas, right? So first things first, right, is plan your idea, right? I'm starting my very first project again because I said at the time I had no experience in 3D visual effects, animation, or game development, right? And when I got my fellowship with Epic Games, there were a lot of people in there who had came from like these extensive visual effects backgrounds, engineers, and I was like, wow, I don't think I'm gonna make it through this. But when I took a step back and I just started to really understand what the engine could do and play to my own strengths, I found that it allowed me to really, really, really expand my imagination and continue to build my confidence with the things that I felt confident I could do, and then transferring and building onto those skills. So some of the tools you have now, right, even more than when I started, right, to iterate and prototype faster, are things like ChatGTP, you know, to get ideas out of your head quick. You know, I wouldn't say use totally depend on ChatGTP, but you know, if you just want to get an idea out your head, a log line or a pitch, you know, get it out of your head and then clean it up and put your own words on it and massage it, right? Because you don't want to have any copyright issues. And then Midjourney, right? Before I used to just pull boards or my ideas off of Google, right? Google Images. But now with Midjourney, you can sort of craft your own pictures and images and do what they call prompting. This is called generative AI, where you can generate images based on text prompts, right? So that's really helpful. And then you can put all that together inside of a tool like Canva, which is similar to like a PowerPoint, right? But I like Canva because Canva now has AI baked into it, and you can move a lot faster and also share. Yeah, Midjourney actually is now charging, but there are a lot of other companies that are coming out, and typically they're going to probably give you like, you know, a certain amount of images free, but after that, yeah, you're going to eventually have to pay for them. But I did notice that Midjourney just recently started charging. But again, you can go back to Google, right, or Pinterest, things like that. And most importantly, as you're starting to create, one thing you don't want to do is, if you created something and you graduated from school 2 years ago and you're looking for opportunities, while you're in your downtime, leverage these tools. Don't just wait around for another job opportunity to create something. You have downtime, or you're in between jobs looking to do a career change. A lot of times I'll meet people and I say, let me see your work. And they'll show me something they made, you know, when they graduated 2 years ago. So unless you got some awards for it and it's still on tour, you want to constantly be creating and prototyping and getting ideas out so you can stay fresh and your ideas can stay fresh, right? And you keep sharpening your skills. But don't just sit around with something you made 2-3 years ago. Even if you're making things that are short and small, it can be really, really impactful when you're moving, you're networking, you're building. ChatGPT, I use it for just research and brainstorming. Again, Midjourney, you know, I don't recommend you replace people, but I think these tools allow you to close certain communication gaps and explore new ideas together. And then last, we talked about Camp. So any questions before I dive a little bit deeper into Unreal Engine? And you say any ways to join as a world builder? There's a lot of, I'm going to talk about that as well. But we also have a newsletter on our site, which I'll share some of those resources. And we also have a program, as I mentioned, GRX Immersive Academy, where we build a community and sharing our resources and connecting with other creators and educators and so forth, so we can continue to build this and keep this space diverse and inclusive. So Well, Arthur, what was the best thing that helped you transition to what you do now? The best thing that helped me transition was when I went from film to virtual reality. I went to an expo called VRLA, and that really, really helped me network and meet other people. And then I just started going to different meetup groups and getting in the community. And you'll find that a lot of people will share that knowledge base and things with you. And I'm also gonna have just a Q&A at the end too. So I'm just gonna push through this real quick. But I would say head on over to Epic Games site and YouTube. They have Epic Games actually has a learning portal here, which I'm showing the interface to, that allows you to create your own learning path. And like I said, if you have certain things that you like, you know, first start off with your first hour in Unreal Engine, right? That'll at least give you a base foundation for what the engine is and how to navigate, right? And I would say the first thing you do is just open up a scene and drag and drop some things in there. Don't get overwhelmed. And if you want to even simplify that, there's a tool that Unreal Engine makes called Twin Motion, right? That's a little bit easier, and it is really drag and drop, and you can start to just sort of world build a little bit, right? And then as you get better and you dive into Unreal, you can take that scene and import it into Unreal and continue to build on it and stylize it a lot more. So I will start off in the first hour Unreal Engine on YouTube. You know, YouTube University is a one-stop shop. But if you don't have discipline yet, I know it can be hard. We know we're here to support your GRX Immersive Academy. And there are other organizations out there too that also offer and teach Unreal Engine and immersive media as well. But you know, we're here to share tools, insights, and we host labs, and you know, we'll continue to grow our community to support everyone. Let me see here. Boom. So next, like I mentioned, don't get overwhelmed, right? Unreal Engine is a really vast engine, right? It can get really technical. So as I mentioned, I chose to learn Unreal Engine from my strengths, right? I love camera. I love lighting. I like editing. I'm not in love with editing, but if I need to get down and dirty, I can, right? But once you learn the Unreal Editor, you know, if you want to get into characters, you can, or you can just build environments, right? And learn how to move the camera throughout your environments. Or you can just say, hey, I want to just build environments and worlds, and I want to take really beautiful images and create storyboards, and then hand that off to someone to help me actually animate it and build the world. So don't feel like you got to do it all yourself, but at least get your ideas out, right? And imagination on paper or into the engine, right? Or out into the engine. Animation, right? There's tools for motion capture that are free if you don't have access to Motion Capture Studio. We do have a Motion Capture Studio, and that's when I decided to invest as a company into a mocap studio to be able to open up the doors for more creators to use these tools, right? And have these labs. But I would dive into some of the Unreal Engine learning portal about animation. There's tools called Mixamo and Move AI. And then you can even turn your camera, your phone into a virtual camera, or your iPad, which is really cool. And the software is free. Of course, the iPad is not, right? And the phone is not. But I encourage you to even test that out as well. And then you can even do facial animation and test that out on your phone if you just start to look up things like live link animation in Unreal Engine as well. So back to what I mentioned about how I transitioned and leaned into my own strengths. I love camera and lighting, right? So here you have, for me, once I learned the editor, I'm pretty much in a virtual set. So this is me setting up a shot, right, in Unreal. This is my camera. And I wanted to do something, you know, moody. Now I'm just using a character that I made in something called MetaHumans, which I'll talk about shortly. But I get all the camera controls that I would typically get with a real camera, and my lighting, right? Because Unreal Engine is a physical-based rendering engine where you can simulate light and physics and all those cool things, right? And you can even get some crazy photorealistic imagery, which is why they call it Unreal, right? So, you know, I encourage you to get in there, drop a character in there you like, and just place an actor. An actor what they call a camera, right? Or different props or different things in a scene, right? And you'll learn about this when you do your first hour of Unreal and when you do another module called Sequencer. Sequencer is where, to me, the magic happens because it allows you to place your cameras in there, your camera cuts, your characters, and be able to actually sort of edit and edit your scenes and your shots together to make something. Where I felt like it really helped me because I didn't really start off designing from a blank canvas is what they call kit bashing, right? You don't have to be a pro at this. Kit bashing is just really going through the marketplace. There's a lot of really great free assets. Going through the marketplace, finding some really great free assets. And kit bashing just means like remixing them, right? So like you might find a really cool exterior. And you say, you know, I like the exterior, I like the terrain, I like the ground and trees, but I don't like the building or the house. Go find another house. Migrate those scenes together, drop the house in that scene. And then when you go inside the scene, you might say, you know what? I want to change the pictures on the wall. I want to change the bed. I want to change you can start to kit bash and remix anything and truly really world build and start to pour your imagination into these scenes in these worlds. And that's what I really love about it, because if I have my references, I can start to find things that look like my references and put them in there. And as you get a little bit more sophisticated, you can start to do more custom things inside of the engine, right? With landscaping tools and mega scans, and start to create your own unique flavor and look, right? Let me see here. Let me see. Questions. Here we go. Would you recommend continuing to pitch and promote projects that have been created in the previous years, like your baby, as you continue to develop new projects? I definitely think you can continue to pitch your projects if tools have advanced and you feel like you can enhance that project. Definitely update it or upgrade it so that it doesn't look dated. And then, you know, if you have other ideas, once you solidify that, move on to another one. You know, continue to stay sharp, collaborate with other people. I definitely think you want to continue to keep on developing new ideas and creating. And, you know, you're going to always have like your baby, and then you're going to realize that you're going to have more of them, right? That you really get excited about as you continue to keep growing in this space. Would coding be considered a transferable skill? 100%. Inside of Unreal Engine is C++. Unity, I believe, is C#. And you know, you can transfer that skill. They also use a lot of Python, and then they have something called blueprints. Blueprints is pretty much where a lot of that coding is done for you in these nodes. So for someone like me, I'm not a coder, right? But when I go into blueprints, and if I understand what these nodes do, and I connect these nodes, all that logic is baked into is baked in there, and I can connect them to make things work as if code is running, right? So that's a great skill, transferable skill to use, especially in real-time 3D and motion capture and things like that. Yeah, Python, yes. And I would definitely continue to build upon that. Even things like Roblox, they have their own language. I think it's called Luau, that you can continue to build upon to build worlds as well. All right. So I'm gonna walk you through my first project I made in Unreal. It was called, at the time, I didn't know what I was gonna call it. So I just called it Untitled for now. And when I did the fellowship, and I had a basic premise. It was a woman discovers an abandoned space lab and uncovers a startling experiment, right? And I started off again, going back to my why, right? I really love sci-fi. I wanted to do something in sci-fi. And I also wanted to get into making game cinematics, right? And leverage my transferable skill as a director into moving and learning more about the gaming industry, directing game cinematics, and eventually moving into developing games, which we're doing now in our company. And I wanted to do more in the 3D space, right? So at the time, I said, okay, what's the plan? I was prepared to spend about $1,000 at the time, because this is to me like a calling card, a part of my new reel, right? As I'm expanding and pushing myself and learning these new tools like Unreal to get my ideas out. So I said, okay, let me lay out what's the lay of the land right now, right? Be realistic. It's me, right? And I know 2D, and I've also transferred those skills into virtual reality, right? So I know about camera. I love cameras. I know a little bit about editing. I can chop some things up if I need to, get the pacing down. And I'm a director, right? And I have the ability to produce and organize, right? But I have no coding experience. I have no animation experience. I have no hands-on 3D experience. So I said, okay, well, who do I need to help me build this out? I know I'm going to need some help from maybe one Unreal Engine developer to help me close some gaps if I hit a roadblock on some things, which I did, and they helped me fade out, and I'll share that with you. I wanted to add some music, so I just got a music composer to help me do that, and which was a buddy who I worked with on a previous project, and I needed to do some little graphics at the end, and I needed some 3D characters, right? Which I was able to get from the marketplace for I think about like $50, right? And I learned how to modify one of the characters by accident. I did something by mistake, and it made the character look really cool, and I kept it that way, right? Because it fit into the story. And then I knew I'd need somebody to help me with environments if there were things I wanted to modify or change. So they helped me with a few of those things. And then I wasn't really heavy into all the details of lighting in the engine, but the things that I needed to know, I was able to go back and brush up on in the Unreal Engine Learning Portal, and then optimize my scene. So I kicked off my previz, right? Talked about mood boards. We talked about Mid-Journey, and getting your pre-visualization, getting your idea out, and building out what it's going to look like in a deck or a picture deck. And sometimes that could be enough to take out to a picture project, right? But I end up calling the project proxies, and what I ended up doing was going on Google and getting my look and feel down, right? There were movies that I liked, like the lighting in Collateral that Michael Mann made, the sodium vapor lights, the green and the teals, right? And then I love this movie called The Island that Michael Bay made, and then Jordan Peele's Us. So I started to use that as a reference, right? And then I wanted to do some exterior lighting on some of the buildings. And Unreal has this thing called ISE, where it's basically lights that have like shapes. So I found this cool tool with these lights that could cast shapes, lighting shapes on the walls to give it some character. And The Martian was like my inspiration for like the exterior and the colors. So, and then these geodesic domes in the background as well for some of my art department. And then, you know, just my full scene layout with these cool lights on the ground, right? I didn't know how to actually do the lights on the ground. So I went into one of the Discords and I just started pinging some people who were working in Unreal. And people were really, really friendly to help me out, right? And they showed me how I could get just like a ball, a spear, and then put those on the ground and then drop a light inside of that. And then I just copied and pasted and spread them out to give it this feel. So how do I build this world? It's in my head, right? I went over to the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Again, you got tons of free cool assets, so there's no excuses for that. And I started off by just research, looking for things that would match my mood boards, right? So I like these props, and I just said, okay, let me get me some virtual art department going, right? Um, and then I found these geodesic domes there, and I brought those into the scene, right? Then I needed an interior, so I found this lab. I was like, okay, this is moving me closer to where I want to go. Now, always check the engine version. You'll see on the bottom right next to download and review. At the time I did my first project, this was in 2020, right? And this was in 4.26. Now Unreal is moving into 5.4, which they'll announce at the Game Developers Conference, also known as GDC, this month, right? That'll have a lot more new features to accelerate development. So then I needed to get some 3D characters. There's a lot of really cool characters in there, and you can customize some of them. There's something called metahumans that you can use to put in your scenes, or you can just find other 3D characters, and they have other marketplaces where you can find characters too if you need to. But I just thought this was fun. I blocked this scene on the right. A few weeks ago, I found a cigar room and some cool alien characters, and I was like, I want to see what this scene will look like with these characters in it. So I just started blocking that. And then you have something called mesh to metahuman. So we did photogrammetry and scanned my face, my body, and this is for another project we're working on. And then shout out to one of our designers that we work with, Robert Blake, the 3D artist. And we did something called Mesh to Metahuman, where I was able to put my face on top of the character in Unreal Engine, right? And you can do this on your phone right now, right? In Unreal's tool called Reality Capture, right? You can scan your face and bring it in there, and there's some really cool tutorials on how to do that. But let me dive back in. So here's my once I got into the engine and I transferred my mood boards, I started to just grab a character. This was one of the characters that came in the marketplace that was free in Unreal. And I started to do my layout and my blocking, right? Just adding all of my scenes, my props, my character, and I would just take screenshots of angles that I would like, right? And then I started to tweak my lights out a little bit, finding angles, camera placement, and just sort of building on the world now that I'm inside of these scenes, right? So like, if you look here, this Martian-like exterior is one asset pack, right? And then the spaceship is props that it came with. And then I just sprinkled those domes around, and then I did added my own lighting. And then when I went to the interior, this was inside of the space center. Now, it came with some cool things like broken glass. So sometimes along the way, new ideas will spark, right? And your imagination just kind of keep going as you continue to tap in these tools. So all in all, at the end of it all, once I finished that part, I went back in, found a cool character that I liked, and then I gave it a name, right? And this is how my budget ended up working out. I ended up spending $250 on sound, do some sound design. And I needed some help in Unreal. I thought it was gonna take me 2 hours, but it took more, right? And I got some help, and I had someone help me out who was an educator at the time, help me and give me a couple of lessons and to make some tweaks on some things I wanted to do, like closing doors and things like that. And then doing something called retargeting the animation. At the time, I was given a library of like animations, free animations. So what I had to do was block my scenes based on the free animations that I had, right? So I said, okay, I got a free animation where a guy's walking, or person's walking. Then I got a free animation where someone's looking around. And then I just started to build my scenes out according to the animations I had. And then we did one session with a remote motion capture scene where I had an actor, motion capture actor, and I think it was an accent suit. or Rococo, one of them. And then I just told them all the little details that I needed, like grab the steering wheel, look around, get out of the car, walk, put your hand over the sensor to open the door, little things like that, right? To sort of, give it a little bit more nuance to the story. But that was a wrap. And this is how it all came out. My very first project in Unreal Engine with, like I said, none of those previous experiences. And it did take me about a month. Now, like I said, if you pace yourself and you get in some groups, it can be a lot easier if you're working together with other individuals. Can everybody see it? Well, make sure you're good. So you can see the translation of the mood boards, right? And my shots that I took in Unreal, just screenshots. And those were the lights on the ground. Someone helped me understand how to make those. That splash of light on the wall, those are the ISC, the tools in Unreal to kind of shape light. This character was in Unreal. I think it was like $50 in the marketplace. So I like camera. So I did all my camera work myself. And just keep framing the camera and moving it. It's pretty cool. Some lens flares in there. So that was a happy accident. That actually came in the asset pack, that broken glass. So I built my story around that. And this character that you see there, when I was playing around with that other duplicate character, I made a mistake and changed the texture on the body, but I loved how it came out like a cyborg, and I just left it that way because it actually was what I really wanted in my mind, but I didn't know how to do it at the time. So that was another happy accident. And then my daughter came in and I let her play around with it. And then she was playing with the face, and then she tweaked the face out, and that's where that third character came right there. She did the face. And that's it. So that was the project. So in summary, tools to unleash your imagination. The number one tool, you are the number one tool. Don't forget that, and starting out with your DNA, your point of view, bring that to the table, lean into that. Number two, lean into your own strengths. Don't get overwhelmed by the technology. Take your transferable skills and understand how to leverage those into new ways and opportunities of thinking. Number three, build your network, right? Collaborate. Sometimes when you might not have ideas, it's good to help other people because you'll start to bounce ideas and that'll recharge and respark your imagination, your ideas. So collaboration, right? To me, that's another tool. And then all of this will allow you to leverage the technology for the right reasons and for the things that you need, right? So that it can empower what you're working on, right? Versus just picking a technology for the sake of a technology. Leverage all these things to empower the technology and let them aid you in unleashing your imagination. So some of the resources, and I can send these out to you. If you want to sign up on our website, our newsletter, we send out a lot of cool things like this. We release a lot of blogs. We host labs and free workshops sometimes as well. So you can go to grximmersive.com, www.grximmersive.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We got some great resource for blogs. We got a great content team there. It's so Adobe Premiere, ArtStation. We talked about Midjourney, Mixamo, Photoshop. Some of you already have some of these pre-existing skill sets already, right? And what's next? I'll show you what we're working on now. What's next for GRX? As we continue to evolve and work with these tools, working with doing more original content, working with the studio called Electroshock Studios. I have a mentor myself. Mentorship is always great with a guy named Darnell Williams and his team. Working with a great concept art team as well that helps us transition our ideas from these AI tools into really nuanced, high stylized art with a company with a guy named Phil and his team at 9B Collective, where we're developing our own original characters now. And then we're releasing our first game that we built in our first PC game, an XR game in Unreal Engine called Arts, Beats, and Tech with Verizon Innovative Learning. It's a immersive music learning platform, and it's free. If you want to check that out, you can go to our website, download the application. If you want to learn more about gaming and game development, we have our first game coming out, and we'll have characters that we'll be using as well for that. And then we'll continue to keep growing our community at GRX Immersive Academy to support, individuals like yourself, educators, creators, and so forth. And I just want to give a shout out to the GRX team. And I'm going to show you a little snapshot of some R&D that we're doing with our characters and some of the things we've been doing with Electroshock Studios, 9B Collective. And then we can take it on home and do some questions. These are all the tools I talked about, right? iPhone, my facial capture, motion capture for the body, 3D characters and animation. This is all built in Unreal for our game. And I'm doing R&D on the workflow. And a lot of these tools are, like I said, are free, and you can put these together to build your own thing. So just want to challenge you to live your imagination, right? And wrap up. Thank you to BRIC and team at GRX who've been really rocking with me, and as we continue to build, grow, and share, and continue to build this, immersive economy. So if you want to reach out, you can email us at studio@grximmersive.com, and be sure to tap in on our socials as well. We post a lot of content there as well. You can tap in on Instagram at Alton Glass VR, and also on our company page at GRX Immersive Labs on IG, where we drop content 2 to 3 times a week, and our blog as well, as I mentioned. And also LinkedIn. Get out there and network on LinkedIn too. That's a very great resource. So that's pretty much a wrap. We have time for questions. And I'm not sure if you can ask the questions or if it's just audio, but thank you for joining me, and allowing me to share the journey with you. And hope you know where's the future and how you can unleash your imagination. Let me see, I did motion capture and Unreal Engine work last time, but I did work for 7 months at any time. Yep. Creating an immersive project for children's education using Mid-Journey and Runway, but this seems way better and much more friendly. Now, what's cool about using Mid-Journey and Runway is you can actually create video and you can use that as a really nice pitch that you can share with Unreal Engine creators and artists until you decided to actually learn how to do it yourself, right? There's a really cool blog with an artist I work with named Don Thiel, where we were creating a lot of motion content using ChatGPT, Mid-Journey, Runway, and I think we were up-resing it all in Topaz. And now you can move your cameras in some of those tools now as well. So check out that blog. It breaks down the entire process of creating some really solid pictures and trailers that could be a really good tool to translate into your world building in Unreal Engine. Oh yeah, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn under Alton Glass, and also our GRX Immersive Labs LinkedIn as well. So yeah, both of those would be great. Someone asked me, how do I know Nick? What's Nick's last name? I'm not sure if he's still here, but yeah, and I'll drop the website in there. And I'll drop the blog in there as well. But yeah, check that out. And like I said, sign up and let's stay in touch. You know, any way I can be a resource, and our team, we're here to support. Are there any questions? Final question? And I'll be sure to put my LinkedIn on here too next time I do this presentation. We have partnerships with organizations. We've worked with BRIC to work with creators and artists and individuals for, I would check out their program. There's another one called Better Youth. We usually try to collaborate with other institutions who have the infrastructure for that. But we do from time to time offer like internships, hopefully to be able to get you moving at least into a freelance opportunities and building a portfolio, you know. So and then the other way to do that is bringing something to the table that you know how to do well, and then working with someone where you both can have a knowledge exchange. So oftentimes we'll have individuals come in to do like a apprenticeship to freelance opportunity, and they'll continue to build and help each other as we sort of provide the sandbox and the resources for you to learn and build. We located in West LA in Santa Monica area. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's West LA. I'm originally spent most of my time in the valley, so but yeah, we're in the Santa Monica area. And like I said, we work with a collective called Electroshock. I think we have any other question? How much time we have left?
We're at 11:01, so we're actually perfect on time. If there's not a very last question, then we could go ahead and end the webinar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want y'all to stay in touch. Anyone interested in learning more You have our information, interested in learning how to get into the space. But you know, if you dive in, please be sure to connect and let us check out your work. We're always looking to continue to keep building and growing the community and building out this next creator economy and immersive economy. So I look forward to seeing what you create. All right. Well, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alton. And thank you everybody for joining.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Have a good weekend.